And we go on Proverbs chapter 11, reading from verse 16 to 31. A gracious woman attains honor, and a ruthless man attains riches. The merciful man does himself good, but the cruel man does himself harm. The wicked earns deceptive wages, but he who sows righteousness gets a true reward. And so a lot of carrying on with the blessings and the cursings. Those that are wise, what does that look like? What does a gracious woman look like? We'll see it starts talking about a nose in the ring a ring in her nose, things like that. Verse 19, he who is steadfast in righteousness will attain to life, and he who pursues evil will bring about his own death. So now we also look at the heart. What is your motive of your heart? Is it for this life, for riches, for evil? What do you desire when you wake up in the morning? The perverse in heart are abomination to the Lord. And we read in Proverbs 6 verse 18, it says, he that devises wicked plans, feet that haste to run to evil, these things is what the Lord hates. And it says this is an abomination, a heart that devises wicked plans. And so Jeremiah says our heart is deceptively wicked. That's why we must examine our motives, our heart, because in the flesh we will end up doing a lot of evil things. So where are we going with our heart and with our deception? Because God hates a perverse heart. Verse 21, assuredly the evil man will not go unpunished, but the descendants of the righteous will be delivered. And so the principle is there. You reap what you sow. If we don't catch our heart early and see where it's going, eventually it's going to catch up with us, and we're going to pay for what we've done. And that evil, you may get riches, you may get a lot of stuff, but it'll never satisfy, and there'll always be consequences to our actions. Here's the verse I was talking about. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a beautiful woman who lacks discretion. And so in those days, there's quite a few examples in scripture where the woman wore rings in their noses. But to put a ring in a snout of a pig is totally out of place. And so a woman needs to dress modestly, she needs to have a quiet, respectful character. And so when she lacks discretion, it's like a ring in the swine's snout. Verse 23, the desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There's one who scatters and yet increases all the more, and there's one who withholds what is justly due and yet results only in want. The generous man will be prosperous, and he who waters will himself be watered. And so here we have the principle of God has blessed us. Everything we have comes from him, and he has said we need to be generous givers. And so it is that principle of it's better to give than receive is very clear in scripture. And so as soon as we start to hoard and not scatter, not give, and not plant, and not help others, then there's a reaping and principle here. Verse 26, he who withholds grain, the people will curse him, but blessing will be on the head of him who sells it. He who diligently seeks good seeks favor. He who seeks evil, evil will come to him. He who trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish, like the green leaf. And there again, the sowing and reaping principle. So if God's given you, blessed you financially, you in turn should now bless others and not trust in your riches. It is good to store up in barns, but there's a principle where you can start to hoard and start to love money and start to say, this is mine. There's a warning in 1 Timothy 6 regarding these riches. It says, as for the rich in this present age, charge them not to be haughty, nor to set their hopes on uncertainty of riches, but on God, who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. So we set our hope not on the riches, but on God, and he provides. And it goes on to say, they are to do good, to be rich in good works, to be generous and ready to share. And that's the principle of as God blesses us, we must be ready to bless others and to share. Verse 29 of Proverbs 11, he who troubles his own house will inherit wind. The foolish will be servant to the wise-hearted. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who is wise wins souls. If the righteous will be rewarded in the earth, how much more the wicked and the sinner? And so we're ending this chapter 11 just with looking at the end goal. The end goal is the souls of men and women. Where are we going to end up? And the righteous is a tree of life, and he who is wise wins souls. So let's be of those that are wise, be part of building God's kingdom, bringing souls to Christ so that they can be saved. And so that we won't be rewarded. It says, if the righteous will be rewarded in the earth, how much more the wicked and the sinner? And so our righteousness, yes, we're going to be rewarded here on earth, but much more in heaven when we die.